शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्तास्तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are taking many a peep into the salient features of Advaita Vedanta, of Upanishads as interpreted by Ādi Shankarāchārya. In this ninth and last of this series, in this class, we are going to consider, deliberate on what are known as the three states of experience. Among the several ways of approaching the highest truth, several ways of arriving at the intuitive understanding of our own true nature, several ways of making a leap from the error domain, where the domain is marked by an individual knower and a world that is known. One is this avasthatraya viveka. This is one of the approaches, one of the prakriyas. Prakriya means a way of going about. In the first class perhaps I had mentioned that all the prakriyas of the Advaita Vedanta are variations of one basic prakriya, one fundamental procedure, and that fundamental procedure is deliberate superimposition and subsequent negation. Adhyaropa and apavada. Because the student's mind is not ready for revealing the truth right away. In order to lift the mind of the student, you and me, to a certain height, that being a figurative expression, in order to prepare the mind for intuiting the transcendental truth, there is a need for supplying certain constructs. Those constructs which are provided, which will be eventually taken away, are called adhyaropa. Like this scaffolding while whitewashing a building. Once the whitewashing is over, the scaffolding is necessarily removed. There are many kinds of adhyaropa, talking of the three bodies, some other talking about a way of creation, how this entire universe got created. There are the 5 sheaths or 5 selves. The self made of food, the self made of energies, the self made of emotions, the self made of thoughts, the self which is marked by degrees of happiness. But all that is only to point to that which doesn't have any of these gradations, divisions. The whole adhyaropa has certain components. The adhyaropa necessarily has several things built into it. Deliberate superimposition, that whole business of preparing the mind, and then subsequent negation, where these constructs are also removed and along with them our mind also goes away. The divisive mind, the separative mind, the bundle of thoughts which create the illusion of our being other than others or others being different from us. There is a basic error of separation. That is the Dvaita which Advaita Vedanta primarily removes. Advaita Vedanta, where Advaita, non-dual, is not so much concerned with the duality between God and man, it is concerned with duality per se. Then we do admit the duality between God and man also is a major form of it. But duality of any kind, duality of object and subject, the duality of past and future, the duality of high and low, the duality of good and bad, countless forms of Dvaita are dismissed in Advaita Vedanta, this non-dual school of thought, and in all those methodologies there is necessarily many things said and then all of them are bundled up and removed. To conclude this refreshing and review of the basic prakriya, I may quickly quote a shloka from the Prakarana Grantha Atma Bodha, where it is said, there is water where dust particles are floating, and in the olden days they used to have certain seeds of a plant called Kataka. The seeds of the Kataka plant were called Kataka Renu, and to clean the water, they would take a handful of Kataka Renu, the seeds of Kataka plant, and sprinkle on the surface of the water tank. Pretty soon, the seeds of Kataka would form a filmy layer, and by their own weight, they go down. As they go down, they gather all the dust and other floating particles and settle down at the bottom. The water above is clean. Today I believe alum and many other chemicals are available which also do a similar job. Using this analogy of Kataka seeds, There is a phrase in that shloka in Atma Bodha, Jalam Kathaka Renuvat. Just as Kathaka Renu cleans up water, when somebody is putting a handful of Kathaka Renu, another person should not misunderstand and yell at him, already that water has so much dust and I find you putting something more there. No, hold on. This will remove the dust and itself also goes away. Itself also will go away. So, that is the job of adhyaropa. It will itself go when it removes our erroneous perception. So, many are the specific forms of adhyaropa apavada, and one of them is avastatraya viveka. Avastha means state of experience. We are awake, that is one state of experience, and all of us go to a dream state, that is second state of experience, and all of us in a 24 hours period necessarily have some hours where we neither are experiencing this waking world. There is no way to define the waking world except what we are going through now. For this cannot be referenced in terms of something else. This waking world which we are experiencing, then there is the dream world where another space, another time, another causation is experienced. That's the second state. It is the dvitiya avastha. Avastha here is a state of experience. Then there is a third one where there is no world at all. Neither something that tickles us, nor we to get tickled. Neither something that gives a pinprick to us, nor we to receive that pinprick. There is no object, there is no subject, there is nothing at all. Deep sleep. That is the third state of experience. This perhaps finds a reference not so explicitly but a bit indirectly in many other Upanishads too. For example, Chandogya, to which we will make a reference later, does make a reference to the three states. But the Upanishad which makes very explicit, direct reference to the three states of experience is Mandukya Upanishad. Not to be confused by anybody with Mundaka Upanishad. The good old joke is when Swami Chinmayananda and others would go town to town, somewhere they would teach Mundaka Upanishad, and there are some 10 or 12 in the audience who would have bought from the bookstore Mandukya and searching for the mantra. Which mantra is Swamiji? Or the other way. Swamiji was teaching Mandukya and people are having Mundaka Upanishad. Mundaka and Mandukya both are in the Atharva Veda, but they are two different Upanishads. So, in the Mandukya, to quickly give you a sense of the flavor of the original mantras, for majority here, feel good to hear a little Sanskrit, for that is the direct original. Some younger generation, somebody, one or two people drop in every class who are born, raised here, and some of them have some exposure to Sanskrit, but some may not have. For them it is Greek and Latin. They will have a difficulty. But in this audience, I think it is worthwhile The Mandukya Upanishad is the Upanishad which praises on one hand Om. Everything is Om, it says. If you ever wonder why Hindus regard Om with so much of adoration, reverence, it is numerous scriptures. An example is here, Om iti etadaksharam idam sarvam. Not just all this, but yad bhutam, yad bhavat, yad bhavishyat. Past, present, future, to left, to right, to up, to down. Everything is sarvam onkara eva. And whatever is, and if there is something beyond the three periods of time, yaccha anya trikala atitam tadapi onkara eva. That is how it begins with a bang. Our focus is not on onkara. In the second mantra, the Mandukya Upanishad gives to us one of the most famous four Mahavakyas. Sarvam hi etad Brahma, everything is Brahma, therefore Om and Brahma are one. And then the Mahavakya is Ayam Atma Brahma. From the Advaitic interpretation, for the word Atma may be interpreted in some other way by some other school, but in the Advaita, Atma is the inner self. This inner self, Atma, is itself Brahma, which is everything. Ayam Atma Brahma is a major Mahavakya, that's fine. And Soyam Atma, this inner self in every one of us, which we say is Brahma also, is four-legged. It has 4 feet. This is Adhyaropa. The deliberate teaching method, deliberate superimposition, where the concept is introduced. I also call it a construct. A construct is introduced to be removed eventually. Soyam Atma Chatushpat. Chatushpat means Chatus 4, Pat is Pada. And then the first Pada is Jagarita Sthanaha, the waking state. To be precise, the one who is in the waking state, Bahishprajnaha, who looks outward and sees, oh, how nice these people are, or outside, how nice these trees, how nice those hills. Having a Bahishprajna. Prajna is feminine, but Bahishprajnaha is reference to the Jiva who has this outturned consciousness. And some description, Pratama Padaha. The fourth mantra says, Swapnasthanaha. In the scenario of dream, there is again this entity. We call this entity Antaprajnaha. By the outlook or point of view of us in waking state, where we have a very strong sense of reality about other people, we visualize the dream as though it is secondary, one notch below this waking state. If even in the midst of a Vedanta lecture, one of us for 2 minutes goes into dream and finds oneself in some kind of, for example, a scary condition, and then wakes up and then, no problem, I am not in danger, I am comfortable here, and one has a jerk, and the friend next to one asks, what happened? I just went to dream and now I am back. So dream is as though a diversion, as though a subset, as though something of a second degree, while waking is given the first degree reality. So the language also at this present is antaprajna, it's all inside you. Whereas in waking, you see the outer world. And dvitiya padaha, the second foot. As you know, pada shabda on one hand is step or foot. On the other, pada also is a quarter. For there are more four-legged creatures in this world than us, the two-legged. That way we are a minority. Therefore, leg, I think in the languages, first came to mean a quarter. If it were human legs, one leg should be half, one of the two. But that is language, let's not get into linguistics now. Pada is a foot at some context and a step in another context. Here both are applicable because there are four padas. One is the truth is described in its four legs. An animal stands on four legs. The truth as though has four wonderful components on which it stands. The other step also is highly justified because an intelligent study of this avasthatraya vishaya helps us to go step by step, understand the waking condition, you going through the waking condition, try to reflect from a spiritual point of view on who you are in waking state. That's a major step. Then deliberating more, reflecting more, thinking more with the guidance of Shruti and Acharya, you go further, take another step. Swapna vichara, that is, thinking about swapna can be another major step in your sadhana. Then reflect further, a third major step. And then the fourth step is to appreciate that which never gets divided. The fourth step when you take, it is not that, aha, you are in the fourth step and look back at those three steps. When you take the fourth step, look back, there are no three steps. What happened to the three steps I had taken? And you find, since there are no previous steps, the fourth step also has no meaning. Then you take the fourth step, you are in a domain where there are no steps, no divisions. But otherwise, in the journey, going by Sanskrit grammar also, padyate anena iti padaha. Pad means to reach. Padyate. And with this upasarga sam, sampatti. Sampatti is wealth. And wealth, as all of you know, is something that we earn, that we accumulate, that we achieve. So, whether it is a physical journey, you walk from San Jose to Sacramento, or it is some other kind of attainment, wealth, knowledge, everywhere it is sampatti. Vidya vinaya sampannaha, someone who has gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of humility. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini, there is a shloka in the Gita. So pada, in the context of traveling or attaining, is a step. Pada otherwise is 1/4, 25%. So swapna is also talked about, and then thirdly, the Upanishad mantra refers to the dreamless, wakingless, that is neither the waking world nor the dream world show up there. That is sushupti, deep sleep. Yatra suptaha na kanchana kamam kamayate, na kanchana swapnam pashyati, tat sushuptam Sushuptastanaha tritiya padaha. Call it the third quarter, 1 of 4, or call it the third step, that is tritiyaha, and that is sushuptastanaha. Then a fourth one is mentioned, and that is said to be, though in enumeration it is the fourth, it is said to be in pure Advaita Vedanta not really the fourth, number one. Number two, it actually is present in these three also. Therefore, in his Dhyana Shloka, Shankarāchārya uses an expression, Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Turiya means literally fourth. If you are narrating Ramayana to your grandchildren in Sanskrit, you may say, simple Sanskrit. Dasharatho nama raja asi tasya chatvaraha putraha asan pratamaha asit ramaha dvitiyaha bharataha tritiyaha lakshmanaha tatha. You could say chaturtaha, but simply in the place of chaturtaha you can use a synonym. Turiyaha Dasharatasya Turiyaha putraha Shatrugnaha asit. Therefore, nowadays all families have only 2 or 3, but some place somebody gets a 4th child. Or though with all their heart had planned not to have more than one, the great lady had quadruplets, let's say. Because man proposes, God disposes. They said only one. We are not going to have 2. God said, but I had planned 4 for you. No, we are not going to. At one go, suppose God gives 4. Then the 4th child can be named Turiya. Or it's a girl, Turiya. Sanskrit grammar will go well with it. Anyway. So, it is said, and I will not quote too much from this Mandukya, but in the Mandukya, which is the shortest Upanishad, if you consider only the Upanishad mantras, not commentary, not explanatory shlokas written by Gaudapada, etc., only the mantras, it is the shortest, 12 mantras. 7th mantra is regarded as the most profound and most comprehensive, most significant mantra, which has maximum food for thought. We'll read that and close the original mantras here. It's a bit long, not too long. Swami Chinmayananda used to frighten us. Before you come tomorrow morning to the next class, all of you must memorize. Anyone who will not be able to recite will be sent out. He frightened us. And we all used to memorize, and sometimes he would not ask at all. It was just to frighten people. Teachers employ various tricks. Once when I was in the college, somebody from USA came. I was studying in Chennai. And our teacher wanted us to attend some of his lectures. But he had a fear that this visitor from Silicon Valley, I suppose, who is going to come and talk about some semiconductor physics, advanced topics, but it's not in the syllabus. So students may not care to attend. So he said, so and so of Indian origin, a former student of our institute, is coming from San Jose in USA. He is going to give 3 lectures, and in the test I am going to conduct later on, there will be some questions from what he is going to say. Full attendance. Everybody making notes. Nothing was asked later on in the test or examination. Everybody was grinding their teeth. We could have skipped those 3 lectures by that visiting alumnus of our institute. So Chinmayananda used to do such tricks, Let's try. So what is that mantra? That 4th It's not waking, it's not dream. See, one is waking and one is the entity who is experience waking. There's a distinction. So the fourth one, Nanta prajnam, na bahish prajnam, na ubayata prajnam, na prajnaghanam, na prajnam, na aprajnam, adrashyam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pratyasaram, prapanchopashamam, shantam, shivam, advaitam, chaturtam manyante, sa atma, sa vidneyaha. This is the mantra supposed to be, and it is, of course, full of significance. Talking of it as that where prapancha doesn't appear at all. Prapancha upashama, everything subsides. Shivam, most auspicious. True peace is only in this. Shiva means auspicious. And Shantam, Ekatma Pratyasaram. It is that the essence of which, Sara, is Ekatma. This alone is me. I am this and nothing else. Let me understand what I am essentially, then everything will be falling in place. Such sadhana significance also is involved in this Ekatma Pratyasaram. But Chaturtham, the word that I highlight here is Chaturtham Pada, the fourth Pada. All right. Through these basic mantras, we have a rough idea what these avasthas are after all. So to give a few more clarifications now, broadly speaking, as we have been saying in the beginning, there is Brahma, Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. Advaita Vedanta takes that too seriously. Other schools interpret it. Advaita Vedanta takes Ekam Advitiyam Brahma, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. There is no division, no plurality. Nana means plurality. Kathopanishad has a mantra, Mrityoho sa mrityum gacchati, ya iha nana iva pashyati. Whoever sees even a little of plurality of any kind, of any division, that person will go from death to death. That is the sansara. Whoever, by implication, sees that there is one truth only, he, me, she, that, everything is one truth, conquers mrityu. So, we have been saying there is one, and then there is an error domain, the ending of that erroneous seeing, ending of a wrong seeing, not doing anything, asamyak darshana. Samyak means right. Asamyak darshana makes all this look real, and what is more, makes our rising or falling, our being safe or in danger. All these are byproducts, all these are what follow that erroneous seeing. Now this erroneous seeing in the present prakriya, this avasthatraya prakriya, we call it sometimes avasthatraya viveka, because viveka is vivechana. Viveka, vivechana means seeing things correctly, seeing things clearly. As in English you have an idiom, separate the grain from the chaff. You have grain, you have the chaff, and with a winnowing basket or whatever, you remove the chaff, take the grain. So we remove the false and take the truth. That is vivechana. Literally viveka, vivechana mean separating. All right. So avasthatraya viveka is a shastra assisted and teacher guided approach where we distinguish the false from the true in the context of the three states of experience. Avasthatraya viveka. So before I quote a couple of lines from Shankara, let me share a couple of important points. Though it is said 4, it is in some Yoga Shastra or those who are influenced by yoga, who think of reaching somewhere, going somewhere, samadhi, and then, they have made Turiya into a transcendental state where we go and reach. Advaita Vedanta doesn't consider the 4th really the 4th. It is the truth of the 3. But in a manner of saying, we call it 4th. That's how Shankara's Dhyana Shloka in Mandukya Upanishad Bhāshya says, Maya Sankhya Turiyam. Maya means magical, not real. Don't take it as 4th really. The way we would explain this is, you have, let us say, a little doll of a boy made of gold. You have a second one, a little doll again of a young girl made of gold. Then you have a gold biscuit, or you want me to be generous in my examples, a gold brick. There is a saying in Sanskrit, Vachane ka daridrata. In my example, instead of biscuit, if I say gold brick, I don't lose anything. I don't have to give you a gold brick. Therefore, vachane ka daridrata. Why do you want to be conjuice in giving examples? A gold doll of a boy, a gold doll of a girl, and a gold brick. So somebody counting says, look, what do you see? You say, boy. This is 1. What do you see? Girl, 2. What do you see? Brick, 3. Now, there is the boy, there is the girl, there is the brick, 1, 2, 3. And I must tell you, there is the 4th one, gold. So, gold is not somewhere really the 4th. It is the truth of the boy whom I showed, it is the truth of the girl whom I showed, it is the truth of the brick whom I showed. Likewise, Ādi Shankara clarifies that the truth that needs to be known in avastatraya viveka is nothing but the truth which is in all the 3. But then erroneous perception makes you distinguish. Secondly, in waking you have nama rupa, names and forms. You have description of this is a hill and that is a river, this is an elephant and that is a monkey, and so on. What is more, you have a description of yourself also. Now I am 52-year-old and you know how wonderful I was just a few years ago. Now I lost that youthfulness, somebody says. I was this, I am this, I will be. Variation in oneself also. In dream also you have, in fact you can't talk of one thing that is not in dream, but only in waking. Waking state and dream state are so similar. Therefore, in higher treatment of the Vedanta, waking and dream are bundled together. In certain places, both of them are called swapna. They are both dreams. And in the story which we briefly mentioned a class or two ago, when Janaka asks Ashtavakra, tell me which is true. I saw myself a beggar in my dream. Now I see myself as a king. So, am I really a beggar and now going through an illusion that I am a king? Or am I really a king and over there in dream I went through an illusion called beggar? And the story ends with Ashtavakra clarifying to him, oh dear, whether you like it or not, you are neither the beggar nor the king. both beggar and king, beggar of the dream that you saw and the king that you are now seeing yourself in waking, are on par. The main point is they are on par. It's not that your being a king is false and your being beggar in the dream is more false. There is nothing like more false and less false here. Both are equally false. And then there is this, it's a very involved deliberation. It's this avasthatraya viveka. When you go into it, as they say, when you actually put your teeth to it, is very, very hard. Not an easy game. It is quite mind-boggling. So I share with you certain insights, and let me briefly say there are different opinions about this even among the Advaita scholars, but the view, the understanding that I shall share with you is where dream and waking, which you through ordinary thinking, popular thinking, seem to have a karya karana bhava. What we see in waking is the cause, and what you see in dream is the effect. This idea that waking is a cause and dream is an effect has gained so much currency, no wonder, and therefore then there are additional, as it happens, when any theory gets very famous, very popular, then there are corollaries. For a theorem there are corollaries, right? There are what follows without saying. Sometimes they say that with gusto. If you understand this, then I don't have to tell you this also. Likewise here, lots of theories are proposed. If somebody says, I got a bad dream, then they say, maybe in your waking you didn't eat right food. If somebody says, I had horrifying dreams, it's because you don't live your waking life peacefully. You whole day you fight with your family members. What else will happen? You will get bad dreams. For a change, at least once a week, be very friendly to your family members. Then that night just see your dream quality will. So that way, waking decides the food you eat, what you do, how you conduct yourself, whether you talk more or talk less, and so on. It can be. This causes the quality of your dream. There's a very popular theory that dream is nothing but undigested experience of waking. Digestion, experiences are not food that you digest through your digestive system, but figuratively. What is meant by undigested experience? If somebody calls you names, somebody comes and says something offending, suppose you sort it out. He doesn't know anything, I ignore, chapter is closed. Then you have digested. Or you say, how dare he say that? You roll up your sleeves and give him a piece of your mind, or if it's permitted, you slap him. Then he says, sorry, I will never do this to you. Then you have sorted it out. Yena kena prakarena. You have sorted it out, so that in same evening also you don't think about it. Yeah, something happened, but we sorted it out. It won't happen again. There is digested experience. But if you went through a pleasurable or an unpleasant experience, where apart from all the ups and downs that happened in you during the experience, that evening also you are thinking, but no, I don't know why he said this. But I am also not happy with the way I reacted. If it were to happen again, I would, I think, respond in a different way. And that evening, anybody who meets you will have to suffer a narration of your, because it's undigested experience. I don't have to elaborate more, And generally, most of us have. Some of us have not come to terms with something that happened 40 years ago. Even today, if somebody comes to us and gets a bit intimate with us, we'll take him to a bench in a park and, At last I found a friend with listening ears. Please don't leave halfway, I have to tell you something. When I was 13-year-old, Bechara, that fellow helpless person. So that's undigested experience. And there is a theory that more undigested experiences you have in waking state, more are the dreams which truly represent or some kind of modification. Behind this popular belief, it is also to be noted, there is a great sense of this waking is very real. This tremendous investment in the reality of the waking world, this tremendous investment, this must be real, this must be real. He is also behind this being given the title, this is the cause, and dream is the effect. However, as you dig deeper and deeper into the Vedanta, and of course, finally, these are Naisha Tarkena Matirapaneya, as Kathopanishad has a line, by logic alone, these are difficult to establish, these are difficult to have a final word on these things. Gaudapada, in his Karikas once more are the explanatory shlokas that are written by anybody, and here we are talking about Gaudapada's explanatory shlokas. Mandukya is 12 mantras, but some 200 shlokas he wrote to explain. And those 200 shlokas split into 4 chapters called prakaranas. Agama prakarana, Vaitatya prakarana, Advaita prakarana, Alata Shanti prakarana, that is sections. So, in one of the shlokas, Gaudapada calls both dream and waking absolutely on par. They are not different at all. Let me see. That is bhāshyam. Oh, that is also bhāshyam. Think about it. This dream and waking, could they be equal? Could they be on par? All right, let me take this line. There are several things. In that 4th section of his 200 explanatory shlokas, not the original Upanishad, therefore if other schools of thought have a major objection, that's understandable. These are not said in the Upanishad proper. These are said by the commentator. In fact, these are the shlokas, karikas, where Shankara has been, or before even Shankara, Gaudapada. Shankara, Gaudapada together have been called by their critics as highly influenced by Buddhism. Some of you may know, Shankara was criticized later on by many scholars as they gave him a title, Prachanna Bauddha. Bauddha means a Buddhist. Prachanna means hidden, concealed. And recently I myself came to know that if you take Shankara as belonging to 8th century, Nagarjuna was a very great Buddhist. As you know, a whole lot of great Buddhist works were all written, leave Buddha alone, later on, the Buddhist literature, by very scholarly Indians. And then the whole thing went to Thailand and Japan and China and so many countries. And now even in United States there are lots of Buddhists, and there are lots of websites where a whole lot of original works, translations, commentaries, everything is available. So Nagarjuna was an outstanding Buddhist scholar, and recently I am told that Nagarjuna preceded Shankara, and a whole lot of examples, illustrations, phrases, etc. that are found in Nagarjuna apparently are found in Shankara's commentaries. So they say he is influenced, or Gaudapada. But my own view is Shankara was aware of Nagarjuna's thoughts, and then he showed that the Vedanta in its Advaita Darshana actually takes meaning, it has Nagarjuna's views as a subset. In other words, what Nagarjuna or Buddha etc. found had been said before, they could see a partial glimpse. And here is the total. The Advaita Darshana, which fully accommodates God, which fully accommodates various bhakti sadhanas and so on, and many other things, was partially glimpsed by Buddha, and he made a system. So this is very different from borrowing or just picking up. And if some expressions and phrases are used, that cannot be a major objection. Always a teacher would use current expressions. If everybody has a lingo, just as in modern English, there are so many idioms. As you see, even in my lecture, every now and then I use an English idiom. Every now and then I would, quote Stephen Covey or Shakespeare or Scott Peck or somebody. So I am not drawing from them as such. They are not the adhara for me. But I have a vision where I say, look, the psychologist in Chicago said the same. And look, the management guru of Salt Lake City said the same. And Shakespeare of several centuries ago said the same. I am not taking Shakespeare or Scott Peck or Stephen Covey as the basis. All right, there's a karika, the 4th section, 37th karika, a little long sentence, bear with me. Yata swapnaha swapna drishaha eva san sadharana vidyamana vastu ad avabhasate tatha tat karanatvat sadharana vidyamana vastu ad avabhasamanam natu sadharanam vidyamana vastu swapnavadeva. Let me read the translation which SSS has given. Did I say 4 times S? 3 times. SSS has given. That's one great Swāmiji, as I told you. Just as a dream appears to be an experience common to all, though in fact it is an individual experience of the dreamer, so also waking, which we suppose to be its cause, ought to be only apparently common to all, and not really a state of public experience any more than a dream. A bit technical. We think that this waking world is not my personal matter. Whereas when we dream, we think that was my personal issue. If in my dream, though there are all people, it's not that I alone am in my dream. In my dream, if I find myself having breakfast with Narendra Modi, and Narendra Modi pats on my back, I am so proud of you, Swami Chidananda, you have been doing good work, so we invited you. I was about to give a breakfast as White House. I thought many of you may not like it. So, we speakers have right there we make necessary modifications. But some of us tend to be a little too naive. We also tell you that what happened in our mind. So, now when I come back, I have a little disappointment. Oh, it was a dream only. Oh, I cannot boast before all these people. I had a breakfast with Narendra Modi, because they won't share. That was my personal imagination. Gaudapada says, actually, look at dream from within the dream. Don't look at dream from the waker's point of view. When you were in the dream, there were lots of people, and that came in the newspaper too, that so many, everything, all the details. There was time, there was space, there was smell, and when you were garlanded in the Prime Minister's house, you felt the beauty of the flowers, smell of. Tell me one thing which wasn't there in dream, which you have here. Therefore, the Sanskrit word here is sadharana. Sadharana means common to all. In the dream, within the dream, everything is common to all. And in waking, if as all of us are talking, let's say something happens, power fails. It's not just I who sees it, you also see, she also sees, everybody sees. Sadharanam. Sadharana means shared by all. So, in waking, every experience is common to all in the waking world, and in dream, don't count these people. To the dream people, everything was common. Does anybody upon getting up from dream say, I don't know, what? In my dream, I saw houses were burning. And somehow I escaped. I survived. And that is how I am here. So you must celebrate. Why are you worried? No, my doubt is, did others survive or not? Did others in the dream survive or not? What will you say to that person? That was a dream. Why are you concerned? That was not real. Just as we completely let go of an idea of others, there are no others. Likewise, in the waking, unless you think of dream as a second, that's your presumption. Therefore, Gaudapada's Karika itself says, Swapnava Deva. It is like dream only. This waking in all kinds, in all aspects, has total similarity with dream. This can be of great help, though it may appear far-fetched. In your self-inquiry, this can give you a major, sudden progress. As long as you do self-inquiry, who am I? But then you hold the outer world as independently real. Your self-inquiry is stunted. When you conduct self-inquiry or the contemplation on the Vedanta, you wonder, who am I? And then you let go of this idea. I am inquiring into this personality of mine. Let go of that. Inquire into the entirety of your waking experience. Entirety means the whole thing as you perceive. Partial means I have no doubt about who she is or who he is, but nowadays, after hearing Swami Chidananda's lectures, I have begun to doubt who I am. This is partial. Just like that man who got up from the dream said, I am convinced I survived that fire, but I am not sure whether those other people in the dream survived or they all got burnt up. Just as the dream is one whole, right? And when you wake up, the whole dream as one whole is negated. Can you question the entirety of your life's experience? Yad bhutam, yad bhavat, yad bhavishyatcha, sarvam onkara eva, the first mantra said. In this way, there are other shlokas too. I would quickly go. This was 4th chapter, 37th Karika by Gaudapada. In a couple of verses later than that, as Gaudapada hammers on how the entire, that is important, the entire object, subject, distant and near, past and future, that whole thing is to be held in view, and one has to question one's investment, psychological investment. One has to question, go to the roots of everything. Likewise, you have, he hammers on all those points. 4 verses down the line, 441 of Gaudakavada Karikas, Shankara makes a comment. In his comment, he says, the main line is, Tatraiva pashyati natu jagaritad utpanyamanan. One moment. Yes. A very short commentary, but in this short commentary on 441, Shankara makes a line that is highly in favor of dismissing the popular belief that dream is an effect of waking. So what does Shankara say? He says, Swapne viparyasad hastyadin pashyan iva vikalpayati. In dream, the intelligence in you notices hasti adin. Hasti means elephant. In dream, someone sees elephants. As an example. Now comes the line which I already recited once. Tatra eva pashyati. If you see an elephant in dream, you are seeing the elephant there only. It is completely internal to dream. What do you mean it is internal to dream? He makes it clear. Natu jagarita utpanyamana. Please do not take it as utpadyamana. Utpatti, rising, coming into being, being born. Jagaritad utpanyamanan na. That is what made SSS hold, and then he found lots of such statements at other places. Then he gave importance to them. He took those statements as more cardinal, more primary. Just as, in the first class we had said, the 3 schools of thought came to 3 different positions because mantras, shlokas are scattered over the Gita, Upanishads and Brahma Sutras. Broadly speaking, if you were to sit with a pencil, you can mark at various places mantras of one kind, call them A. This is A type, or this is also A, this is A, spread over. They are highly in favor of Advaita angle of view. Then second day you say, okay, let's again go through all this. Let's look for mantras which seem to favor Dvaita. You will find lots of shlokas and mantras. You call them we. Then on a third day, Vishishtadvaita, part and whole or something. See. And you make a table. I found 800 mantras in Upanishads having a distinct flavor of Advaita, and 2500 in favor of Dvaita, and maybe 1100 in favor of. So ABC, Now, to recapitulate what we had said that day, someone like Shankara says, these 800, though they number-wise they may be less, they are the final message. Someone like Madhvacharya would take these 200 mantras. Can you mistake? This is the main. Other we will tell you how, what. There's a way to interpret. Sri Ramanujacharya takes the group C. Likewise, in Advaita also, as you get going, let me caution you, some of you have been inspired now. We are going to study more. I'll give you a word of caution. When you go into this jungle of Advaita Vedanta, you will find that within it also there are different schools of thought. So is the case, I am sure, with Madhva and Ramanuja. In the south there is one big division, Tengalai, what is it? Vadagalai, Tengalai. I don't know what they do, but we laymen, with respect to that, I am a layman. We know that there is some elephant thing of, whether the nama should be V or Trishul type. U or V, right. U-shaped nama or the V-shaped nama, and Tirupati or some temple. Tirupati? Melkote. Melkote elephant, there was a big debate. That is on some customs. Whether the nama on the forehead of the elephant in the famous Vishnu temple of Melkote near Mysore, whether that should be V-shaped or U-shaped, there was a debate. That is customs, rivaj, But on basic principles also, I am sure there are, right? So now, to slowly bring this to a conclusion, whatever it is, as you and I go through waking, dream and deep sleep, it seems to be nature's, nature of the divine only. There is no nature other than Brahma. I am not saying there is nature as a second entity. Brahman, in Brahman itself, in this inexplicable, in a way that cannot be explained, the three states come on their own. Nobody orders deep sleep. Waking, dream and deep sleep are not anybody's choice. These three happen. Now, the Shastra's interpretation, especially on the Mandukya Upanishad, in the light of Gaudapada, his student's student Shankara, is that here are these three, and while in waking and dream, you have names and forms, you have object and subject, you have past and future, you have far and near. All these, they can be bunched together. Don't even make another theory that this is the cause, that is the effect. Bundle them together. And what about deep sleep? Deep sleep is where you are in your true nature. Someone may say, but in deep sleep, don't we have the hidden tendencies, some causal tendencies, which create the dream, which create the waking? Somewhere you may have read. If somebody says, I have not read anything, so much the better for you. Congratulations. But if you have read, then that will be a doubt. Now, my job is to show to you how Upanishad mantras themselves, before SSS gives an interpretation of that kind, Upanishad mantra, if you go to Chandogya, again go to that same chapter 6, where Tattvamasi is said 9 times. In the very first section where Tattvamasi, the Mahavakya, appears for the first time, which is chapter 6, 8th Khanda, 6.8. Over there, you don't have to go far. In the very first mantra, Father Uddalaka says, Yatra etat purushaha swapiti nama. When one goes to deep sleep, Sata somya tada sampanno bhavati. When one goes to deep sleep, one sampannaha, one is endowed with, or one attains, one arrives at sampatti. With what? No avidya is mentioned, no vasanas are mentioned, no causal body is mentioned. The mantra, if you take it literally, if you interpret it, that's different. This is the same ABC issue. If you take it as given by the Upanishad, Sata Sampannaha. What is Sat? Truth. Sadeva Somya Idamagra Asit Ekame Vadvitiyam, says Uddalaka in the earlier part of that same chapter. Sat is the basic word, and grammar requires that when you are endowed with something, that word goes to what is called the third case. Suppose I was poor, then I was blessed with money. So you have to say dhanena sampanna. Dhana is wealth. Dhanena sampanna. Likewise, if one is blessed with pure truth, Sat becomes third case of it. Sata sampanna. So this says, Yatraitat purusha swapiti nama Sata somya tada sampanno bhavati swam apito bhavati. He is going to his own true nature over there, and so on. And there are some more mantras too. So to sum it up, it seems to be an autopilot mode within the error domain. Nothing is real here, but within the error domain, again and again, in deep sleep, we are in touch with our own true nature, freed from any trace of ignorance, any trace of vasanas and all those things. And as the error again takes place, then one is deluded. Vedanta Shastras set out to correct this error. And in the matter of correcting this error, among many other tools they use, one tool is this 3 avasthas. Look, this erroneous perception is to be questioned. Ramana would say, question who you are. You say, I lost my house, it went up in fires, I am in grief. Hold on. When you say, I lost, what is that I? Ramana questions. That is also a prakriya. There is no avasthatraya there. Here, you are awake, you go to dream, you go to deep sleep. In your deep sleep, where is any sorrow? Let me conclude saying, Ramana Maharshi used to say, try to be in Jagrat Sushupti. He coined a new word, or maybe it is there in some book. And they asked him, what are you saying? You are advising us to be in Jagrat Sushupti? That means half awake and half... no, not that way. That anyhow we succeed many a time. In Vedanta classes, we are in Jagrat Sushupti. Half awake and half asleep. No, that is not the meaning. Maharshi advised a form of sadhana where Jagrat Sushupti means you are awake, transacting, but you carry that understanding of how I, in deep sleep, have no problem whatsoever. There is to use a favorable language, there is a dimension to me which has no problems. Let me remember that problem-free dimension, about which yesterday I said in a more popular language, lovable and loving. There is in me, let the whole world tell me I am a useless fellow, but there is in me a lovable and loving entity. So to remember that, and then to handle. Someone misunderstands us, someone throws brickbats at us, and someone puts us on a pedestal. All these things happen. That is all Jagrat. But as praise and insult come towards us, if we can keep in mind, if we can hold on to the understanding of the truth of Sushupti, which is our true nature, Maharshi Ramana's advice is, whole lot of your agitations and botherations about praise, insult and all those things will die a natural death. In Bhakti Marga they say, come what may, hold the feet of the Lord. Everything will fall in place. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.